Hello guys, my name is Pilot Pete and welcome to my channel. It's been a long time since I've last uploaded a video. Well, I have uploaded something yesterday, but nothing spectacular, just a short flight to test everything out. Yeah, I'm kind of back. I started to record some videos again, and I basically want to come back to this channel and keep it a bit more active than I did in the last time. The last video I uploaded was 2 years ago. You can find it on the channel. It's about a tutorial about performance and stuff. Pretty much when Microsoft Flight Simulator came out, and there was a lot of questions. So you might to give it a go. It was very popular, and yeah, I was very surprised and excited because some people started to ask me when I will come back and do some videos again, and this was something that I really appreciated, because my channel is pretty small, you know, but still there are people around who actually enjoyed the content. So yeah, here we are, back in the sim, back recording videos, and I want to keep this simple today. This is just the first test flight, basically. A full flight, a very short hop. Let's go into the details later, where we just talk a bit about the plane, fly a short VFR hop. I explained some things, and yeah, let's see how this goes. Give me any feedback if you have after the video about the audio quality. I just set everything up tonight, and about the audio quality, about the video quality, and let me know what you think. If you enjoy this kind of video or what you want to see in the future, let me know. So to give you a little bit of background, a few years ago I started flight training, basically here. This is Hohenems airfield in Dornbirn, Austria. I started flight training in the Aero Club Bodensee, which this plane here belongs to. Well, at least the livery, the plane isn't exactly the same, is the DPL, Delta Echo Echo Papa Lima, or in short, Delta Papa Lima. It's registered in Germany, but that is more for, let's say, tax or insurance reasons. The Aero Club Bodensee is located here at this airfield, and I did my flight training here. Unfortunately, I was not able to finish it completely yet, but that is something I still have on my bucket list. I did pass the theoretical exam though, so I have all the theoretical tests. I have done a lot of flying. I have about 30 hours in a Cessna 172. Well, basically this model is the F172. It's a Cessna 172 Skyhawk, but it was built in Europe, in France. That's why it's called Reims Cessna. It's a contract manufacturer in Europe of Cessna, so it wasn't built in the US, it was built in France under license. And it's a 1972 model, so a very old one, all analog instruments. So this particular aircraft here is a bit newer. The livery, the awesome livery, I have to say, let's appreciate it, is from a guy that I asked on a Flight Sim Tour if he wants to recreate this livery for me from the airplane I flew in real life, and he did an amazing job. Look at all the details. I mean, the logos are there, the color matches, everything is like it is in the real world, with the correct flag and everything. I really appreciate it. I will put the link down in the description of the video, so you can download it if you like it. As said, it's the WBSim Cessna 172 mod, or payware add-on, and it basically turns the standard analog Cessna that you have in the premium edition of Flight Simulator into a study level, or how the developers call it, near study level. It's not like A to A level, but very close. It's really insane how much detail they put into this, but maybe we'll talk about this a little bit later. This flight is kind of a tutorial. I will just talk you through how I learned it. We will not do everything according to checklist. I don't even have the checklist in my hands right now. We will just do the flows and do some real world things that you might appreciate to learn about if you don't know, because even a Cessna 172 is not a particular complex aircraft, but there are still some things you want to keep in mind and that are simulated in here, so you can really do your real world things, your real world checklist with the instruments, foul plugs, and everything like that. You will see it later. Also, there's another paper add-on in here, and this is the Boris sound mod, and this turns the default sound from the Cessna into a really nice experience. It sounds so nice. It's recorded from a real Cessna. It's not only the engine sounds, it's also the sounds when you just push the rudders and stuff, the stall horn, the wind effects. He did an amazing job. So if you like the Cessna 172 and want to turn it in a kind of study level 172, get the WBSim mod, get the Boris sound pack, and you will have a totally different experience. And with this livery and the interior I have here, it really reminds me very closely to the Cessna I've flown in the real world. Anyway, what we want to do today is not a review or full tutorial of this particular aircraft. We just want to do a short VFR flight. As said, we are here in Hohenems. It's located in the western part of Austria, very close to the Swiss border, to the west here. You can see it later on. And we will do a short flight to Leutkirch, which is located in southern Germany, next to Memmingen airfield, very close to the München International Airport. It's 8 a.m. here. So we will depart from runway 05, as you can see here. We'll do the official departure route, VFR departure procedure. We will not have a look at charts and the flying procedures. There are some quirks on this route in the real life, like respecting airspaces, which we will do on this flight. We will not get into any special airspaces unless it's the transponder mandatory zones around Friedrichshafen, which is already also nearby on the route, and the transponder mandatory zone of Memmingen. The airfield which we are flying to, Leutkirch, is basically located just at the border from the controlled airspace of Memmingen. So there is a transponder mandatory zone. But yeah, we will not go into this deep into stuff today. This might be something for another video where we can have a look at the charts and airspaces and all that stuff. If you enjoy this style, so we could do some really realistic flights, even with the radio communication on WBSim, like in the real world. But that's not what we're doing today. We just do a short flight A to B, follow the highway and land in Leutkirch and talk about some things. So yeah, happy to have you on board. So let's hop into the aircraft. The aircraft is fully cold and dark. You can see we have the pitot tube cover on, the pitot cover on. We have the engine intake covers on. So this is all simulated. There will be tie downs as well, so you can tie down the airplane, but this is not on. It even has a GPU small to recharge the battery in case you emptied the battery. We don't need this today. Battery is full. We hop on board. Everything is cold and dark, so we'll do the full real-world procedure here. And the first thing we will do is we power on the battery master switches, so the alternate and battery switches, to power up the aircraft. The first thing we do is we have to put the avionics master bus 2 on. In the real world, we only power the instruments after we started the engine, because it can basically theoretically damage the instruments. But here is a hidden menu in the ADF avionic. You can see our engine health, oil level, realism mode is on. It has state saving and all that stuff, but let's not go too deep. Tie downs are off, wheel chocks, we removed them, but we put the parking brake on. We take away the pitot cover, which you can see. Oh, It's automatically gone somehow. So we remove the pitot cover. We remove the engine coil plugs you have seen in the engine intakes. So everything is green and ready to go. So we turn this off. We turn the avionics bus 2 off for the engine start. We turn the fuel position lever to both tanks. The fuel shut-off valve goes on. It's a security thing. What we can do already is to set the trim to the takeoff position, like this. We put the nav lights on, not the taxi. I have to find my switches here, otherwise it's out of sync. So let me see. We turn the beacon lights on, we turn the nav lights on. Taxi lights can come off for now. Strobe is off. Okay. Mixture, full rich, and then we put the throttle, or the power lever, to about let's say 1/3 of its travel in. The key is already in the airplane. We will put it to both and then to start till the prop starts spinning and is stable. Another thing we can do here, I like to put this on Celsius. We are in Europe today, local time. We are only allowed to start our engines after 8 AM here at this airfield because of noise reduction reasons. So it's already 30 minutes past 8, so that is fine. So let's turn the keys first to both and then to start. Back to both, it comes on nicely. We put the RPM to 1000 to warm the engine a little bit. We check the instruments, fuel, we have about 75% of fuel, so we don't have to worry about that, it's only a short flight. Oil pressure is in the green, suction is in the green, amp is positive, that means the battery is charged from the alternator, from the engine basically. You always want to have a positive value here, otherwise it means you're using too much power on anything else and the battery is discharging, and that's definitely not something you want to have in the air. Oil temp is pretty low, it's only 6 degrees in this cold autumn morning. So we can only go full power or takeoff when this is in the green, but we have to taxi to the holding point, do our run up, and maybe clean the magnetos a little bit, because you can hear engine is turning a bit rough. It will get better maybe when the oil is warming up. It's fluctuating here a little bit, so let's put it a little bit more RPM. Okay, we're good for now, so we turn on the instruments. So basically we have to turn on both avionic master switches. We wait till the avionics are powered up. I already have set the QNH today. It's 10:18, as you can see here. I have already set. We just have to click Baro here to fix that. We don't have to use we won't use our autopilot today. It's a very basic one anyway, but it's not that basic in the sim. The real one in the aircraft we have is a very basic one. This one is pretty capable together with the GPS, but yeah, we don't need the GPS today. We still have to power it up because it is also at the same time our radios. Usually I fly on WBSim. I'm flying offline today, but I'm used to put it on Unicom frequency. But again, we just ignore this. This is something for another flight, another tutorial. It's powered by the working title default Garmin's, by the way. So we wait for the instruments coming up. Alright. I put this to nav because we won't use our GPS today anyway. Alright, let's have a look at the windsock. Usually we don't always take off here from the best wind direction because of noise reasons and just operational stuff. As long as possible, even with a little bit of tailwind, we use runway 05. So what we can do till the engine is still warming up is we turn the heading back to runway heading, which is 05 today. Just have to figure out my knobs here. So we put it to 5. So this gives us a bit of spatial awareness when we go out of the traffic pattern. Alright, we are basically ready to go. We will set the taxi lights on and taxi to holding point for runway 05. Parking brake comes off. We give it a little bit of power, not too much. We definitely don't want to crash into the police chopper there. It really runs a bit rough today, so we have to fix that. This could very possibly happen in real life as well, but let's go into that at the run-up. What we do till when we are taxiing is we check the brakes, they work. We turn to the left and see if the gyro and compass are spinning in the correct direction, obviously. We have all instruments turning, compass, gyro, and the turn indicator. That looks fine. So we just line up at the holding point for runway 05, turn the nose into the wind. The wind is pretty calm today. We set the parking brake. Because it's so cold today, I will also put on the pitot heat. I'll find the correct switch for it. I have to push the buttons on my instruments, on my physical instruments, because otherwise it won't work when I click here. So don't worry about that when I'm not actually clicking things. Alright, so we do the engine run up. What we do? We go to 1700 RPM. So give it a little bit of power. Mixture is full rich now, but it looks like we have to clean the magnetos from oil and leftovers. It runs really rough today. So what we do, we take out the mixture a little bit, as much as possible without the engine dying. So really almost out. Then we put our RPM to about 80, 90, 100. And this will clean the magnetos. We run it on both now. And you can already see it starts to stabilize. It's not fluctuating anymore. The engine runs more smoothly. We leave it there for a few seconds. We have to get some heat into the engine anyway. Okay, let's reduce it back to 1700 RPM. Let's go full rich. Reduce it again to 1700. Way better than before. And this is exactly what the WBSim mod simulates. It simulates foul plugs. You can even have a spark plug fouling. So basically it's damaged, doesn't work, and you will find out, you hear it when the engine runs rough. So this is really cool. So what we do now, we are at 1700 RPM and we run on both magnetos, and we will now check the left one. So we will go to the left only. We see a drop from about 100 RPM. This is in the desired range, shouldn't be much more. Back to both, and it recovers to 1700. Next, we check the right magneto, so we go full to the right. It drops about 100 and fully recovers. That means we are good to go. You don't want to have a big difference between both magnetos, and you don't want to have much more than 100 RPM drop. So we are fine. We have to wait a little bit till the oil temperature is in the green, which will be the case pretty soon. In the meanwhile, we check our takeoff configuration already. Takeoff trim is set. We can do flight controls check, so let's look at this. To the left and to the right, check that the ailerons go in the correct direction. We will look back and see if the elevator comes up, the rudder works. This seems all fine. Controls are checked and correct. Alright, we are in the green. So let's reduce our RPM. Strobe lights come on, landing lights come on, we can turn off the taxi lights. Park and brake off, and we will taxi to the runway. The runway here is only 400 meters or 1200 feet. So we really want to use the whole runway. That's why we do a backtrack for just, even if it's just 20 meters, feet, whatever, and really want to make sure that we use all the available runway. Okay, we turn to runway heading and line up. We set the flaps to 10 degrees. They come down, they come down. Mixture full rich, takeoff trim set, full power, and here we go. We push down the yoke a little bit. We don't want to go in the air too early, we are pretty light, so it wants to take off almost by itself, but we will rotate at about 55 knots, which is now. So we pull it up, give it the right rudder, step on the ball. You want to keep the ball in the middle, so I have to step on the right rudder. We climb with about 60-70 feet, 70 knots. The departure procedure here is it's forbidden to go over the city, so we have to turn left before we reach the buildings. We will do this now, full power, mixture full rich. We turn to the left. We want to keep it in a pretty coordinated turn. We need to make a bit a tight turn here. Keep clear of the buildings below, and then we cross the highway below us. We want to climb to 3000 feet. As soon as we cross the runway, the highway, we can turn to the right. There is a visual reporting point that we have to cross on 3000 feet on departure. You can see it here. Here is a little bridge and an antenna nearby, and the outbound track, the departure track, is to be at 3000 feet at the right of the antenna, and the inbound traffic will come also from the right, but from the other perspective, so from the left, from our view from the antenna. This is for traffic separation. So it's important to be on the right of this antenna here, you will see it better in a few seconds, and to be on 3000 feet, which we are now. So what we do, we reduce power, we level off, flaps come in, we want to retract the flaps before we reach 80-85 knots. Level off, step on the ball, Mixture is still full rich. We reduced to about 2200 knots for the moment at least. Down here you can see the antenna to our left. That means we are right of the antenna at 3000 feet, and this is visual reporting point echo. So basically we will call on the radio now that we are leaving via echo on 3000 feet. But let's keep it simple for today. We will not go into radio and stuff. This is something for another day. Alright, let's climb further to about 4000 feet. Let's play a bit with the mixture. We pull it out till we notice an RPM drop, which is now, so pull it in a bit. We are flying low altitude. We don't need to fly a very lean mixture for now. Let's climb with about 500 feet. Let's trim a bit so we don't have to pull too much on the yoke. On the left side of us is Altenrhein Airport, which is a third-party airport. Ignore the pink church here. That is definitely not there in the real world. At least it's not pink. Altenrhein Airfield, it's included in one of the world updates from Gaia. It's pretty well done. Has a few bugs with the text designs right now. I opened a tweet for it in the forum, so you can search and vote for that if you like. I would appreciate it because, yeah, I like to have my regional airfields fixed. For Hohenems, for the airport we just departed from, LOIH, or the Lima Oscar India Hotel, there is a nice freeware. There's also a payware, but I think the freeware is better. It has way more accuracy. It's done from a guy that lives here in the region, so yeah, it's pretty accurate. You can find it on flightsim.to. I might put the links in the description of the video so you can find that. Alright, 4000 feet, that is enough for today. We'll level off, we reduce power a little bit to 2100, 2200 RPM, which is basically economy cruise, econ cruise to save a bit fuel. We wait till indicated airspeed has stabilized, so we can trim the aircraft a little bit. Trim a little bit nose down. We want to stay as close as possible to 4000 feet for today's flight. The lake we are flying over is Lake Constance, or in German Bodensee. It combines three countries. Here is Germany, here is Switzerland, and here is Austria. And the river here, the Rhine River, or Alten Rhein, is basically the border between Swiss and Austria. And here is southern Germany. The next airport, bigger airport here, is Friedrichshafen. There's also a paper scenery for it if you are interested in that. And pretty close to here is also Memmingen, as said, the Leutkirch, the airfield, the small airfield we are flying to. I use a payware for that as well. It's very well done too. The next bigger airport here is Memmingen, and Leutkirch basically is just at the border of the Memmingen control zone. So there are some special regulations in real world here, like I mentioned it before, the transponder mandatory zone. Basically, we would have in the real world to set a specific transponder code. Good that we talk about it. I forgot to set the transponder on and to alt reporting mode. Basically, we will set a specific defined squawk code, and with it also a monitor frequency on COM2. So ATC can see, okay, this guy is monitoring the frequency for commercial traffic, and he can identify that we are flying into the transponder mandatory zone when he sees our specific transponder. We don't have to communicate with them. We don't need any clearance to fly in there. It's just for awareness reasons. And if he needs to, he can call us on the radio, because we are on his frequency here, but just listening on COM2. It's just for safety and separation reasons. Anyway, for our route today, we do a poor visual flight. That means we follow the highway here, the main highway. Then we will fly the traffic pattern for Leutkirch. We will join the traffic pattern on a predefined route. If you are from the US or used to US, there are pretty much standard traffic patterns for every airport or airfield for VFR flights. In Europe, so in Switzerland, Austria, Germany, France, and so on, there are, in many cases, so in almost every case that I know of, there are specific traffic patterns in place. And they are not the usual rectangle-shaped standard traffic patterns that you know from the US, maybe. They can be oval, like in Hohenems there is an oval pattern. We can have a look at this in another video, but if you have Navigraph subscription, Navigraph charts, and you go to the VFR map and you zoom in on Hohenems, Lima, Oscar, India, Hotel, or Leutkirch, Echo, Delta, November, Lima, you can see the published VFR traffic patterns. So this is very interesting. And for Leutkirch, it's pretty much a standard left-hand traffic pattern, but it's flown at 2,800 feet, and it has a special pass to join. If you're coming from the south or from the north, we have to join in a particular way and avoid any villages that are nearby. But again, we can have a look at the charts and everything in another video if you are interested in a deeper tutorial how to fly and navigate, fly patterns in the real world, and fly along or inside controlled airspaces or transponder mandatory zones. For today we just keep it simple. We are still following the highway here. We can not much to do right now. We can enjoy the view a little bit. To get a little bit of this fall autumn mood, I have installed WEX AccuSim Advanced. It's pretty nice. Right now I have chosen a bit darker terrain, and yeah, for this region for now it's a bit too brown, but it looks nice. Gives us a little bit of this nice autumn mood. To our right there are the German or Austrian Alps. Innsbruck is about somewhere here. That would be an interesting flight for some mountain VFR flying. If you enjoy that, we could do a flight to Innsbruck or Zell am See, which is also very special. And from there it's not far to Innsbruck. That would be a nice flight for once. Maybe a live stream or something. I don't know. I have to think about that. Alright, let's check our navigation. We're still on track. We're just following the highway here. We lost a bit of altitude, wasn't too concentrated on that, so let's go back to about 4,000. As we don't have to pay for the fuel in the sim, so we can go about 2,300, 2,400 RPM. What you always want to do in the real world, or even here in the almost study level Cessna, is to have an eye on your engine instruments. You definitely don't want to go outside of the green range, so maximum 2,500, but usually 2,100, 2,300 For cruise, fuel is okay, fuel flow is in the green, engine temperature is good, doesn't go over the red. Oil temp is good, oil pressure is good, suction is in the green, amps are positive, so our battery is charging and not discharging right now. So no trouble ahead of us. And always keep in mind, step on the ball. What this means, you want to have in the turn coordinator, this ball here, you want to have this in the middle. And now it's a bit right of the middle, so I have to push the right rudder to have it in the middle. And then you will see that the performance of the plane is increasing because you have less air resistance. You are more, the airplane is more aerodynamic in the air, basically. Simply said. All right, let's check our mixture. Yeah, I don't want to go too lean. Also trim our nose down a little bit as we seem to be climbing. Also something which is good to know, I use the honeycomb alpha yoke, which fits pretty well for Cessna or generally VFR aircrafts, or even for the Boeings and stuff. You can fly everything, of course, with it. But something to keep in mind, you usually fly in the real world a Cessna with only one hand, or maybe 2 or 3 fingers even. You usually don't have the right hand at the yoke. Only the left one. With the right you can be on the map and track things or write information, landing information like wind and stuff down that you get from the ATC. So you're basically one hand at the yoke is more than enough, and you can you just do small adjustments. You definitely don't fly with both hands and make this kind of inputs on the yoke. You really, if you have trimmed it out, if you're stepping on the ball, you have this in the middle, and you trim your airplane nice with the trim wheel, you really don't have much to do. Just a few pushes and small inputs to the left or right on the yoke is all that it needs. Alright, we are coming close to the airfield now. The airfield lies in this valley. Or valley is a bit too much, but there are some hills around it. It's located down here in the flat spot. We follow the highway here, and then we have to fly to the right. Avoid any cities and villages. And then we will join the traffic pattern midfield, basically. We will fly towards the field, basically in the middle of the runway almost. Then turn to the right and fly a left-hand traffic pattern and land on runway 24. Let's say it wind is calm, and runway 24 fits as well today. So what we can do for our spatial awareness is turn the heading back to 24. heading 240. I have to turn quite a bit. This helps us navigating in the traffic pattern. To fly the downwind and the base. Like this. Alright. We avoid any of these villages here. Traffic pattern altitude in Leutkirch is 2,800 feet. But we don't want to lose too much altitude right now because we have to fly over these hills to join the pattern. Nice view on the Alps. Okay, let's go a bit to the right and then fly between these two villages, just for noise abatement reasons. Let's fly around both. Alright, another view on the engine instruments. Everything seems fine, all in the green. And we can slowly start turning to the left as soon as we pass this village down here. And then we will basically join the pattern between this gap in the hills here. The airport is just here. Do you see the red buildings? Maybe a little bit. Also don't lose too much altitude because we have some windmills here. Always watch out for other traffic and obstacles. Alright, let's turn to the left. I reduce power a little bit. Not too much. Alright, reducing power, mixture full rich for the approach phase. And we aim towards the airport. Here is the runway. We fly over this gap. And we descend to 2,800 feet, which, as said, is pattern altitude. Trim our nose a little bit. Okay, 3000 feet, 2008 pattern altitude, so we start to level off. And turn to the right for the downwind. We want to stay below the max flap speed, as we set flaps in just a second. But we definitely do not want to go below 60 knots, not even near off right now. Because a little bit below 60 is our stall speed, so you have to watch out for that. And keep your plane as coordinated as possible when you fly slow. Alright, we set flaps 1. Give a little bit of power. $2,800 2,800 feet still. And we turn to base. Can set flaps 2. And it's very easy to overshoot the runway here, which we almost did. And we're doing a bit of a steep descent. Watch the airspeed, you don't want to be below 60 knots. Yeah, we overshoot it quite a bit. This shouldn't happen in real life, but in the sim it's a bit hard to always look around. Some head tracking would be nice, maybe. Okay, last notch of flaps, full flaps. Power almost idle, mixture full rich. Watch our speed. Down between 65, 70 is a good final approach speed. If you lose too much speed and go towards 60, just add a little bit of power. Don't want to get in a stall before the runway. Nose up, idle, and then we basically stall the plane to the runway. Oh, that was a nice touchdown. We have enough runway here, so I don't use the brake yet. Push the yoke. Pull the yoke so you don't go up in the air again, and this helps to take some stress from the front wheel. So you really want to pull the yoke even after landing and also while on taxiing. Okay, brakes. We can retract the flaps. As we leave the runway, we turn off the strobe lights, we turn off the landing lights, and we can set the taxi lights. And we'll just park in front of the restaurant. Welcome to Leutkirch. Get a bit closer. Okay, we set the parking brakes, turn off the taxi lights, beacon stays on, turn off our instruments. And then we just pull the mixture. All the lights off. Battery and alternator off. And we turn and pull the key and we are shut down. The spinning that you hear, that are the instruments that are spinning down now. Pull the fuel shut-off valve. And here we are. I hope you enjoyed the flight. We will sit in the restaurant now and have a nice coffee and a cake, which they actually have here. I have a picture of the real world Cessna, which we parked exactly here. Looks basically like this from the GoPro view. Basically the exact same picture as we are now. So they have really nice cakes here, nice coffee. So yeah, we will enjoy a break here and maybe we do the return flight or something in another stage. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you that you joined me on this flight. I hope you enjoyed it. We didn't go too deep into stuff, but if you would like to see that, comment below. Comment below if you like this kind of content or what else you want to see. Post your critics, positive, negative. I don't care. Put everything in. I will respect it for future videos. So I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day and see you soon. Bye bye.